Next in order of appearance would be Senator Blackburn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I am so pleased we've got a hearing today on the MA program, and I find it so interesting that for the first time, most Medicare beneficiaries have selected an MA program, and it really has marked a shift, I think, in the thinking of our Medicare enrollees from fee-for-service over to a value-based system. And Ms. Hoagland, I want to come to you first. In your testimony, you talked about MA enrollment growth not being evenly distributed through the marketplace with a concentration in a few national companies. So I want you to drill down on that a little bit about how you see this affecting the overall competitiveness of the MA program, and what changes would you suggest we look at as we try to promote competition?
Yeah, so absolutely, this is a huge area of concern. As we talked about earlier, I think competition in Medicare Advantage is what's best. It's what's best for the consumers. It's what's best for the federal government in terms of spend. In particular on this topic, what can we do? I would start with transparency. Transparency in all of the dollars that are flowing over and above that CMS cap, because we do think that's a lot of what is driving the beneficiary choice. It's not necessarily what's in the best interest of the consumer, but where those dollars are flowing. And so I think it would be very interesting to track that data and see, with transparency around total payments, is there a correlation between those dollars and where we see the enrollment lining up? And then the second thing there would be, once we understand and have transparency, to talk about true maximum caps that encompass not just commission but total payments. And so again, then we're making sure that folks aren't using financial incentives, and it's really about placing the beneficiary in the plan that is the best fit for them. And then finally thinking beyond about, how do we make sure that is directed towards high quality plans and that sort of thing.
Okay, you touched also on some of the aggressive and misleading advertising in the MA space. So a couple of questions there. Can you give us some specific examples on impacts on seniors and what you're seeing there? And secondly, for people that have been enrollees, have you conducted satisfaction surveys to know what they saw as being aggressive and misleading?
Yeah, so one of the things that we do is we watch our disenrollments. We stay right on top of those, and we often will follow up with consumers when we see those come through. And it's fairly often that our seniors weren't even aware they were switched. So that's how aggressive the tactics are, and they're not even understanding. It might be as basic as how would you like to have your groceries covered? And the person says yes, and pretty soon they're switched. That was the key. So they have no idea that the question is leading to them being switched on a plan. We have, as I mentioned in my testimony, a trusted partner who said, ahead of open enrollment, when they're not even supposed to be allowed, their clients receiving 5, 6, 7 calls a day. And so, just the call after call after call, and they're spending a lot of time trying to help re-educate their consumers on, this is what you have, this is why we think it's right for you.
Okay, so it is some of those consumer protection items that you're wanting to see enhanced. Mr. Blumenfeld-Gantz, I do have a question for you, but I'm almost out of time, and I know others want to ask their questions, so let's have you do this one in writing and submit it. I would like to know what you see as the differences between Chapter and other Medicare advisors. And then with it being a tech-enabled platform, how do you address the needs of older enrollees and allow them into your program? And with that, I will yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn. Thank you for your questions.